Hello there. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's another Monday morning. I hope that your weekend was nice, was great, was wonderful. And is Anthony Samuel Morore once again with the ASM Facebook Live show. I am here by wishing that you're going to have a very great week. And as we are waiting for people to come on this wonderful day, so that we are going to have a great time with our guest, welcome each and every one of you who is going to be logging on, and even those who are going to be logging on later on. We have Colin Hene, we have Chin MC who is watching this live stream, and we have Konstantino Kotsiakis, we have other people who are logging on. We are welcoming you to this wonderful show this Monday morning, as we are wishing you a very wonderful week. And Julieta, thank you for liking my live stream. Welcome our guest, who is none other than Tony Dovale. Tony, you can come on, and because we are waiting to hear from you. Hello, Tony. How are you?
Good morning, Anthony. I'm wonderful, thank you. It's nice. I'm also Anthony, but my normal name by people is Tony. I see my friend Colin is online as well, a very superhuman, if ever you want to do some super good work.
Wonderful. Yes, I'm also Anthony. Hi, Colin. Yes, welcome. You're listening to Anthony and Tony, or you're listening to Tony and Tony, or Anthony and Anthony, whichever way you like it. We are Anthony, and we have a wonderful show this morning because we have a wonderful guest, Tony Dovale, all the way from
Johannesburg, South Africa.
And Anthony here is from Athens, Greece. Welcome, and we wish that you are going to have a great time. So let's get going without taking much more time. We know people's time is very important, and it's proper that we go to details to what we are doing, so that we get to save people's time and we achieve as much as possible wherever we need to achieve. So Anthony or Tony, please introduce yourself much more, so that we get to know a bit of you, so as we move along.
I'm an old Bali, so I'm 60 going on 40.
Oh.
I'm passionate and focused. As you can see, my Life Masters, how's it, Jonathan? My Life Masters work has been the core foundation of my life for the last probably 40 years.
Yep.
And so everything that I do, my driving intention, energy, time, is about creating content, experiences, workplaces, training that brings out the best in people, your fullest potential, not the potential you think you have, but the potential times 3. So my vision, mission, values comes to a point of I co-create a world of more integrity, freedom, love, abundance, meaning, peace, and joy. And I do that by providing coaching, training, talks, and support for those that are ready. I see my friend Trevor and a few other guys are on as well. So I've spent my life to find the most powerful stuff I can find in the world, whether it's mindset, attitude, healing. You can see some of the stuff on my shelves behind. You'll be able to see a little bit on my shelves behind me. I'm a fanatic in creating a context and an opportunity to bring more love, light, peace, and joy to humanity. So I'm grateful for an opportunity to sow some more seeds of possibility.
Wow, wonderful. That's very wonderful. Let me ask you, Tony, were you born this motivated? Because you're lively.
I think as much as we like to look at our past and have a story of poor me, and my father beat me, and my mother didn't love me, and my brother's got, we have all of this stuff, the story that holds us back. It's like if you take a soccer ball in the swimming pool and you push it under the water, The further you push it, when you eventually let it go, it will pop out higher. And I think that was my gift that I got, is coming from a family environment where you're never good enough, you're not good enough, you'll never be good enough, you can't do it. My internal drive says, watch me, I will show you what I'm going to do. And so I kind of popped out of home into the big wide world with plans and visions and hopes and dreams that got popped along the way, quite a few. But my core was, I will show you. I will do whatever it takes. My friend Dwight, do whatever it takes. And so, how's it, Jackie? And so that's my philosophy. I don't enter a race to come second. I mean, if you're going to enter the race, give everything you got and some more. So if I don't know it today, I will know it tomorrow. And that's my blessing, is I manage here. This biological computer, we've got all of these little phones and big PCs and that. But if you don't manage this part and manage here, the heart and the love and the care and the focus, we've got the wrong firmware sometimes. And it gets programmed by life, by experience, by context. Even even a good person in a bad workplace can get contaminated in their thoughts and feelings, and eventually their swords get blunted. So I think for me, the question is, why am I like this? It's my identity. It's at the core of my soul, of this is who I am. I am that I am. It's a very powerful process. And I think that's, for me, it's my identity. It's not a belief, it's not a value, it's not a business, in as much as I have CDs and books and all of these kind of things. It's what I do. Every second of every moment, whether I'm awake or asleep, my core identity is that I am a light bringer. I am here to create a better place for me, for we, for us.
Wow.
And so I always have the fuel.
Wow, that is wonderful. And yes, we can see that you have the fuel and you can keep going on and on and on, and we appreciate that. And actually, your friend Trevor now is saying that what you say, yes, you speak from the heart, and whatever you say is, you have that gift that of sharing the truth about life, the ups and downs that everyone experiences. Yes, thank you, Trevor, for that contribution, for that support. Yep, you want to say something?
I'm very lucky, because the friends I have that are watching now, some of them, are the ones that drive me to bring out the best, because I know that they bring their best. And if I'm going to be any value to humanity, I need to wake up. You know the story of the lion and the buck in the African bushveld? Do you know the story?
Sorry?
Do you want to be the lion, or the story of the lion and the buck? Do you want to be the buck, or would you like to be the lion?
Oh, everyone
So
of us
people,
wants
they
to
think,
be.
well,
Yep.
being the lion is the best.
Yeah.
But when you're a lion, as the sun comes up over the savannah, you've got to put on your boots and get yourself running, and you've got to get out into the field. You've got to run like crazy, because if you don't catch a buck, you're not eating.
Yeah.
And so you've got to wake up and you've got to be running. But the buck, people think, the buck's not so safe. But the buck, you've got to wake up, you've got to put on your boots, and you've got to run like crazy, because if you don't, the lion's going to get you. So either way, whether you're a lion or a buck, you've got to wake up, put on your boots, step up, show up, and you've got to run like crazy. Either way. Because if you want to win and succeed, that's the only way to make sure you're ahead of your pack.
Yeah, very
Sorry,
good.
I've just got a friend, Emmanuel in Melbourne, my Nigerian guy, that's trying to talk to me as well.
Yeah, I understand.
So for me,
I see that you're quite on demand. Now, let's go back a bit. There is what you talked about. Yes, it's still about the same story, but when you're talking about up here, yes, we always hear is as a man thinketh, and there's a very famous book that we would recommend people to read, As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. It's very wonderful. It all starts from the mind, and if you manage your mind, you can manage your life. That's what I believe that you base your principles on. Yeah, go on.
So if you don't manage this biological machine, it will eat you. Unfortunately, very few people, we don't, at school, we're not taught how to use the mindset. We're taught skills. And you go to university, we spend millions on skills. But a
Yeah,
highly skilled person with a bad attitude, bad mindset, low self-worth, low self-esteem, low self-confidence has got no chance of succeeding. And so that's why I've created a whole framework, a Formula One success insurance framework, which is a foundation, because everybody that's listening, everybody in the world wants to be happy, healthy, wealthy, and successful. The problem that they have is they want to build the space without the foundation. And that's
yeah,
why their success seldom lasts. I know guys made 500 million. And in 4 or 5 years, he spent and lost 530 million. But if you don't have the right foundation in the 6 areas of your life, you're not going to build sustainably. And so everybody wants it now, immediate gratification. Give me, give me, give me now. But unless you can manage this, because even with lots of money, there are people that are unhappy, unhealthy, they blow their wealth, they're into drugs and stuff. So people think money will solve their problems. If you have no oxygen, if you have no money, some money will be great. But if you've got the basics, the fundamentals, more money isn't going to solve the problem. Money is just an amplifier of the stuff that's running in your head over here. And so very few people take the time to actually get the consciousness, the awareness, the resilience, the self-awareness, that mindfulness, that you know what's going on in your head. And so in the work that I do in my success insurance and my life master stuff, we become the antivirus for the thought virus, because that's the problem. People wake up and somebody says, I don't like you, or there's something on Facebook, and there's something on the news. And so this mental thought virus takes us down. And that for me is the real powers, is that mental resilience and the awareness that what comes in, you can stop it and say, whoa, hold on, that's not a thought that's for my highest or our highest good. Let me reprogram, because neurons that fire together are neurons that wire together. And we know chemically, electrochemically, what happens here controls what happens here. In fact, the heart's got more power, radiated power, measurable, than the brain. So these two components, we need to be conscious. We need to be aware. We need to focus them intentionally and build. It's a muscle that you build. You know, I don't have huge muscles. But if you want to grow a muscle, you've got to put in the work. You've got to put in the effort. You've got to put in the sweat. And so people go to gym to get these huge bodies. For me, the gym is here and the gym is for here. How do you bring more love, gain more wisdom? How do we dance lightly on humanity and create a place that people want to be in?
oh, it's wonderful. It's quite much. And it's all about the people that want much wealth, buildings, cars. Now, let's discuss slightly before we even go to that side, because I know that some of the viewers who are watching there have a different definition of success, because success is quite a debatable subject. What, according to Tony, is success?
When I was young, and I was 19, 20, I used to work at an executive car company selling Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches, Rolls Royces, Panteras, De Tomaso Panteras. And so I used to see the guys coming in with all the money and do you know who I am? And they were running after the means goals. They would spend, and in those days a Porsche was 66,000 Rand for a brand new Porsche. Sorry. So for me, that time was focused on the means goals, getting stuff. They used to walk in with the big jewelry and the rings and the secretaries, and it was, what do I have? What have I got? My power is in the stuff, in the money. And most people, they chase after that, what we call the means. But it's not what you really want. Anybody listening, and I see a lot of my buddies here now, they're into this. They understand this. Yes, it's nice to have the means, but to have money and no love is not great. To have money and no health is not great. And so it's not actually the car that you want, it's the feeling that you get from having the car. So it's the ends goals, not the means goals. The challenge that we have is we are so addicted to that adrenaline rush and the dopamine hit that we get from succeeding. And when I was seeking and finding and getting, we're addicted to those means goals. But I've been with many, and I've been in my own space where being alone on your own, money doesn't matter, cars don't matter, jewelry and diamonds don't matter. It's, do you have friends? Do you have love? Do you have health? Do you have a vision of something greater in the world? And the moment we can get people to understand, you can save millions, avoid the means, and go straight to the end goals. Because I know guys that are super wealthy. They got a 2 million rand Audi R8, but they're unhappy in their heart. They have no love in their space, or they have no health. And so you see the guys at the robots, they've got lots of time and no money. There are guys that I know that are wealthy. They've got lots of money and no time. So the real balance in life is time freedom and money freedom. But you need to have your health. You need to have love and relationships and trust and care and the soft, warm, fuzzy stuff. Because money is a very, very cold lover. I've been lucky to deal with people that have got the cars and the toys, and 20 out of 20 give me health, give me love. I'll find a way to make the money. But you know, we joke that people use their health to get their wealth, and then they use their wealth to get their health back. But there are times you can't use your wealth. I know of a guy that he had a stroke, and now he can't work. So yes, he's got lots of money, but he's boarded mentally. You know, his mind that's gone through a health issue that he'll never recover from that. So for me, health is such an important component. And the reality is only when you lose something do you truly appreciate what it was. And so it's easy to say, yeah, I can do without it, until you have to do without it. Only then do you suddenly realize what it's like to not have that thing that we've had so often. And I call it the wallpaper effect. You have something, if you have prawns every day, eventually prawns is like having a glass of water. There's no value. And so there are times that we need to be without it, that we can appreciate it, because then when you're back with it again, it's like, how I missed that. I really appreciate that. So for me, I would advocate that we step back and say, what's really, really important in my life? And then step away from it for a week or two, because then we reactivate that longing and the appreciation of that process. And for me, the number one thing is friends. Now, I'm not a good friend because I don't phone and spend time yakking and speaking, but I'm blessed to have friends that are potent friends. In times of need, they would be there. They're honest mirrors. You know, I've been reading about leadership ego. Having an honest mirror is a vital component of the process. They're people that are glad for my success. So many people are they're jealous of people's success, and so behind your back they'll talk about you and they'll be negative about you. So you know, for me, you can have lots of money, but if you don't have friends, you don't have love, you don't have care, I think you're a poor person.
Wow, that's quite
to
wonderful.
finish, what is
Yep.
success?
Yep.
For me, a very simple line of success is love, that's health, and enough money to be able to wake up each day and bring freedom, love, abundance, peace, and joy to humanity. Above the
Wow.
ground and breathing is real success. Everything else is a bonus.
Wow, wow. This is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. To all of the people who are listening there, and I see we have quite a number that are still logging on and they are listening, and I know that we are going to be having some more who are going to watch after we are off air. We really appreciate that you've tuned into this broadcast, and we expect that you are going to have success in your own life. Now, the question is, after we have this success, you're talking about health, wealth, and even friends that Tony is talking about. The question that we have here, Tony, and someone who is watching us live there, may be asking himself or herself, in this very fast-paced generation, at this time. I mean, when you need to have the wealth, you need to have the health, and you need to have the friends. It's like juggling. I mean, you need to have this balance, and you need to have all of them. How do you juggle about this? You talked about finding one core value, one thing that really means something to your life, and maybe going for it. But you can't afford to lose the others. So how do you juggle? How do you maintain to keep on and succeed in all the areas?
I was coaching a lady on the weekend who works for one of our large banks, and she's quite high up in management in the financial department, and she's got a boss from hell. And literally in the last 2 weeks, she's worked through the night at the office, completely through the night for 6 nights or 6 days and nights out of 2 weeks over the weekends. She's a single mom with kids, but her boss is such a piglet that he creates emotional manipulation and creates a context and a fear situation where she has zero balance. She's now she's lost her health. The doctor's telling her he's going to have to put her into hospital. And so the reality is you have to value you first. If you don't value you and have that self-worth, self-esteem, self-confidence, and identity, you're not going to be able to block the pressures around you. And so in the reality of life, I love speed. I love power in a car. But you don't always have to have your foot flat in the corner going at 500 miles an hour. In fact, you need to slow down. If you take a new Ferrari, climb in, turn on the key, put it into neutral and put your foot flat at 15,000 revs and just sit there revving at 15,000 revs, eventually you will blow the motor. I don't care how good the thing is, but you will blow that machine up. So you have to be the one conscious enough and caring enough to say, whoa, let me come off the gas. I work with a lady's content from Australia, a professor, and she, using one question, she clarifies the potential profitability of an organization. And she says this, on a scale of 0 to 10, what is your average energy expenditure on a daily level? And she says if it's anything above 7 or 8 on an ongoing basis, it is not sustainable, it is not sane, it is not smart, and it is not safe for you. People think working longer, they're more productive. You're not. The challenge is we don't respect, when we're younger, we don't respect our bodies and our minds. I remember working like crazy, and one day I fell down. Something happened in my head. I stood up and I fell down. The balance in my ears were gone. Literally, I couldn't stand. I walked on my hands and knees for 2 weeks. And so we call it burning the candles at both ends. You get excited, you get involved, you get interested in stuff. You need a ritual process that says, come off the gas. We have the weekends, but some of us work, or some people work so hard during the week that the weekends they then get into either rest and recuperate and recover, or they're partying and drinking and going wild. You can only do it for so long. I used to be a DJ and work until 3, 4, 5, 6 in the morning through the night. I'm still a DJ now and again, but by 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm saying, whoa, okay, this is enough now. Let's come off the gas a little bit. So you have to respect and understand you might do something that you can't recover. And many people, they start to use tablets to maintain their mindset, their health, their space, because they're either depressed, which is anger without enthusiasm, they're overworked, they're overstressed. And it's a habit. They're stuck on this hamster wheel. When we were young, there used to be these merry-go-rounds. You used to get on them and make them go faster and faster and faster. And eventually, you couldn't get off and you couldn't get on. It was too fast either way. And for some people, they've allowed their life to get like that. And you have to be a leader of yourself to start with, to say, whoa, is this the smartest thing I'm doing right now? You might be in a business that needs pressure for the moment. And we have high levels. Everybody I'm researching in my team building and my coaching, their stress levels are very high. And there's nothing wrong with high stress. But you need to de-stress the same amount of the level of stress you've had. But people seldom get back to zero. And so there's a part in the brain, the amygdala. And if you're in a high pressure, high stress, high conflict, fear environment, if you never get back to zero, your cup starts to fill up slowly but surely, and you come to work with a half full cup, and you're getting more and more, and eventually the cup runneth over, you explode, you scream, shout, have a meltdown. But you need to stop long enough and come back to zero, come back to neutralize. Otherwise, that incremental flow just burns you out. And very often that burnout can, I know of a person that burnt out their thyroid, now they're on tablets for the rest of their life. So we don't have a machine that's irreplaceable. In fact, it's a $1 trillion machine. Look after it. Look after your hearing. Look after your eyes. Look after your health. Only recently, again now, we know that weight is not good for us. We know that excessive drinking or eating or smoking or whatever it is, but it's only when the pain is big enough, when somebody bends you, ow, 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 when that pain is big enough, that you'll say, let me do something different. And it takes, as much as mindset is my business, we are driven by unconscious motivators that are way stronger than our conscious mind. But when that pain is big enough, we will then take the steps and go and do something. And for me, that was, 5 weeks ago now, I said it's time to get my health back, time to get my body back into shape again. And we're on that path. But it needs to be an intrinsic part of the value. People say my number one value is health, but watch what they're doing. That will tell you their real values aren't what we say. Values are what we do. You want to see anybody's values? Watch what they do to you and for you, and you'll truly understand what their core value system is. And for me, only when you lose it, do you suddenly appreciate and say, wow, my health is vital to me. And I've been blessed in a few instances recently to suddenly wake up and say, wow, let's get smart again. Because we're going to live long. We're going to live to 100 plus. In my workshops, I always ask the people, what's the oldest person that you know that is alive today? I'm shocked. People say 97, 103, 92. So if you're going to live to 100, are you looking after this physical vehicle, this biological machine? Are you looking after this? Are you looking after your heart? Are you looking after your friends? Because you want them to be there as well. You don't want to be the only one alive. We're getting to stages where people are old and they're moving on. So look after yourself and hold your friends accountable. If you love somebody, hold an honest mirror to them and say, listen, just have a look at what's happening there. Is it what you really, really want? That's what a true friend will do, is they will hold you to your promises and to your values.
Wow, that's quite much. Let me believe that whoever is watching right there, you've got all that Tony has poured onto us this wonderful morning, and that you're going to put it into use of thinking of how you live your life in balance. I mean, taking care of yourself and those who are around you. Now, if we have somebody who is watching us live there, and you have a question for Tony, we would appreciate if you would post it there, and Tony will have the opportunity to answer it. So, Tony, as you say, time is going and people are, we watch whatever someone is doing, and then we're going to know. I mean, it's like knowing what someone is going to be tomorrow. Now, let me ask you a question. Do we have overnight success?
Yeah, you can.
How?
It depends what you call success.
Yeah.
Because you can have an instant transformation in how you think, feel, and act. Because for me, success is not a material, in my hands thing. Success is a shift on how I see something. Success can be how I appreciate something. So yeah, absolutely. I've had on workshops that we do, our Life Masters, our Life Shift workshops, I've had people wake up in what I call a BFO, a blinding flash of obviousness. It's an aha. And so suddenly break through a limiting belief system and have a new perspective and a new appreciation can be absolutely success. Because when most of us talk about success is have, not be. And I don't think there's success of have without be. Be happy, be mindful, be conscious, be caring, be careful. So yes, I've seen it, and I've had my own overnight success where there's been a huge shift. For me, the simplicity is: are you above the ground, and are you breathing? If you are, you're successful. Now, let's make some music and do something more than that. So I'm always successful with that rule. But people make rules where they put their bar for success is: I must have £1 million car, I must have a £3 million house, I must have 5 million in the bank, I must have 40 friends, I must have 3% body fat, I must have, I must have, are the rules. And the problem is they never get that feeling of success because they've got all of these rules, and often put in there by their community, by their culture, by their family, by their religion. For me, my success is simple. I wake up each morning, I look around me, I'm breathing, I've got 10 fingers, 10 toes, I'm a success. Now, let's see how we can dance for the rest of the day. You can be in a second success. But you have to manage this egotistical programming that's running, these thought viruses. If you get a virus in your machine, you can run Norton or one of the antiviruses, ESET, and in a second it'll find that virus and it'll say, weg is hy, goodbye, gone. That's how quickly you can become successful.
Oh, okay. We get that, Tony. And so it's like that person that wins the lottery that I have always had. Someone has won a million euro, $1 million, million rands, the lottery, depending on where you are. They have had an overnight success. So that's what I believe that you're agreeing with, that yes, you can have an overnight success. You bought a lottery ticket and you won a million. If $1 million or million rands is what you define your success as. Now, the question is, after you have an overnight success, we've had examples of people who've won lotteries and 2 years down the line, 5 years down the line, they are back to where they were. They are beggars. If they were beggars before, if they were struggling before, they go back to struggling. What happens here?
All the research around lottery winners says that probably 90% of people that win money are going to be worse off or in the same place within, like you said, 2 to 5 years.
Yeah.
And the reason that happens is because they get stuff, but nothing changes in here. Their identity doesn't change, their beliefs, their values don't change. So now they've got this big bucket of money. Their old rules, the old values that got them to be poor in the first place are still running them. There's a joke of how do you what I'm trying to think of the joke about, how do you make a million? You give somebody 20 million. How do you make a small fortune? You give somebody a big fortune and they will waste it and squander it down to a small fortune. And so there are people that you can give them an old dirty car, and within 6 months or a time period it will be clean, it'll be shiny, it'll be running efficiently. There are a brand new car, and within 6 months it'll be ugly, dirty, dusty, and not running at all. And that comes back to self, identity, mindset, beliefs, values, behaviors. And that's part of the challenge of people, is they're wanting to create success in money terms without doing the inner work, and still stuff changes on the inside. Nothing is going to change on the outside. In fact, the outside is a reflection of your inside. And there's a process we do is, you can ask yourself, what kind of beliefs and values would a person have to create what I have created? It's not an easy process, but it is a potent process that you can start to see those things. And I'm just looking at guys like Andre is a friend of mine from Mozambique. And Andre is one of the most down-to-earth, solid, good, stable humans that you will find. He's barefoot and tackies. He's in shorts and a t-shirt in an incredible place. He doesn't have 50 billion in money, but he's got 50 billion in heart and soul and integrity. And for me, we need more people like that. And that's my frustration with our country, is we have potential to collaborate and connect and communicate and expand what we have together. But we have such political division and racial and leadership, what I call greedership, dividing. And it's a small percentage, very, very small percentage of people that are true leaders that will create the catalyst for that going forward. And so people look up and see people with money saying, I want the money. They see the numbers, the billions and the trillions. They don't even understand what a trillion is. And they say, give me, give me, give me. You know, when we travel through Mozambique, the kids stand on the side of the road putting their hands out, sweeties, sweeties, sweeties. And that's unfortunately the culture of Africa. It's a victim culture. Give me, you've got, so give me. And we need to change that mindset that, well, first of all, you need the context. It's very, very hard to build a business when there's nothing around you. When I was traveling through Mozambique, one of my guys I was with that used to help me with my jet ski fishing, I said to him, why don't you start a library? Because where they were in the bushveld, there wasn't even electricity. And so if you don't have a library or something that you can use to learn, if you don't have the infrastructure, so your context has a huge impact of where you are, whether it's your home context, your business context, or your country context. It's a strong controller, plus a context and leadership are two core components. And in fact, in my little high performance workplace, my revolutionary workplace, we talk about that whole process of, if you're a leader, you need to create the context that brings out the best in people. If you are in your own mindset wanting to be more successful, get the right people around you. You will be as successful as the sort of the average of the 5 or 10 people around you. You want to see what you're going to be, do and have? Assess your friends around you and see, because you'll be the average of that. Millionaires and billionaires are around millionaires and billionaires. Kind, loving, incredible people are around kind, loving, and incredible people. So you need to make sure that you're moving on up the scale, not just looking for have stuff, but the being, how you're showing up in the world, mindset, attitude, speaking. The way you are, the values that people say, give me money. So they want to have before they do or be. And there's an incredible woman on one of the YouTube, or lots of the YouTube videos. She says, you need to resonate. You need to be thinking and vibrating like a millionaire, because then you will do the things that millionaires do. And because of that value that you add, you will have the things that millionaires have. But you have to get to that resonance, that vibration, that values, that add value first. You can't get heat from a fire until you put the wood and the value into the fire. So you can go to the coal stove or the wood stove, and you can kick the heck out of it and say, give me, give me, give me. But until you've put in the potential, until you've put in the fuel, you're not going to get out on a sustainable long-term basis. And so that's why we have guys, they see the politicians stealing. It's easy. They see the politicians in South Africa right now. It used to be in the past, government jobs were protected, but you didn't earn lots. I saw recent research, our government jobs are more than protected. You can be completely incompetent, but the salaries of the jobs in the government are close to double in the commercial world. And that's just crazy. And then you wonder why you don't have operational effectiveness, you don't have accountability and performance in creating the structures for entrepreneurs to be more successful in the world. It starts at the foundation, and that's why all of my stuff that I've taken to put out into my Life Masters is creating the foundation. The gurus will tell you what to do and how to build the house. Who's told you about building the foundation of that castle, of that tower? Because the taller you want to go, the more successful you want to have, the deeper and stronger needs to be your foundation that you have. And very few people build that foundation. I've seen people do and have lots, and then come crashing, and then they can't recover again, whether it's from a divorce, from an insolvency, from some kind of challenge in life. And life's going to challenge you in ways you don't expect. It's going to give you an opportunity to grow and be more conscious again. Many people don't get conscious. They get angry. They get Twitter and bisted and twitchy and bitchy, and then hit alcohol or hit anger or break away. But we need to be a lot more conscious. I research extensively, But there's so much. The web gives you access to anything you want instantly now. But how much of that is wisdom? Knowledge is about, look how strong I am, look how clever I am, and the ego. Wisdom is about the questions. It's dancing with questions that make you think more deeply and become much more aware. When one of my friends had the stroke, he was a left-brain accounting guy, always into the non-touchy-feely kind of stuff that I'm into. And I used to always talk about the near-death experiences, when you die, what happens. And he said to me, he came back because he died and came back. And he said, I went down the tunnel of light and I met my folks there. And he said, everything you've been talking about is in fact that's real. And so essentially the average near-death experience, the people go down some kind of tunnel when their soul leaves their body, whether they're in an operation or an accident or something. And they get to the gateway where they'll either meet Jesus or their avatar or their master or the angels or whatever they believe in. But if you're going to continue through, you'll be asked two questions. Number one, how much wisdom did you gain while you were here? How much wisdom did you gain while you were on the planet? And so think about that. How much wisdom are we gaining each day? Number two is, how much love did you bring? Not love your neighbor, let's go. How much love did you bring to humanity, to the people that are different from you? And the third one is, are you ready to receive back what you perpetrated on others? Not as a punishment, but to wake you up, to be conscious, to be compassionate, to be comparing, to tread lightly on humanity. And so that's how I live when I wake up in the morning. It's, some people wake up and say, good God, it's morning. Or others wake up and say, good morning, God. Thank you for the opportunity. And my thing is, how much wisdom am I going to gain today? How much love can I bring? And make sure that I'm conscious and I'm treading lightly on other people when I interact with them, so that when I do pass on to the next level, whatever I receive back will be a whole lot less than I would be if I was unconscious. So for me, the wisdom as I've got older, yeah, it's nice to have stuff. It's nice to have a new car and a house and go fishing and doing all these things. But it's nicer to have love. It's far nicer to know that you have care and compassion and connection in your life. It's nicer to wake up and not have aches and pains and worry about or have to wear glasses. I'm only now starting to have to wear glasses at nearly 61. So I do the exercises because it's something I want to keep without having to wear glasses. And health, we know health is important, but I don't do everything every day. And I'm now starting to do those kind of things to say, be more aware, be more conscious, be more focused, little nibbles every day. So for example, if you want to change a habit, link a new behavior to an existing habit. So most of us brush our teeth every day, and most of us do something in the morning in the kitchen. So whenever I brush my teeth, I do squats. I do 15 or 20 squats. I'll have a glass of water when I go and brush my teeth. If I'm in the kitchen waiting to do my breakfast, I'll do push-ups against the bar, against the counter in my kitchen. So every single day, I'm adding and incrementally improving some aspect, because this is the most valuable vehicle you got here. We need to look after this vehicle, because if you don't look after it, no money is going to get a replacement. As much as technology is here, no money is going to bring a replacement. And so as the artificial intelligence comes into the world, we've got to become more intelligent and astute with how we use us, how we use our thinking, our feeling, our love, our care, our consciousness. And we have to create a future not just for us. What people don't understand is many people think when you die, that's the end of it. What happens if you're going to come back and you're going to have to experience all of the mess up that you've left? We worry about our next level of children and their generations of no food, no water, no electricity, no leadership, no whatever, no oxygen. But what happens if, just think, what happens if the reality is that you will come back in 50 years' time to a world that you've left in a shambles? And so whether you're coming back or not, whatever you believe or not, I believe in the Hawaiian principle that says, leave the world in a better place than you found it.
Exactly.
Do something simple. If every one of us pays it, I love the movie Pay It Forward. If every single one of us pays it forward today, and that's my challenge for the guys online today, Do 3 random acts of kindness. When I had the radio station, we started this in 1994. Do 3 positive random acts of kindness just because you can. And on the condition that those 3 people do the same, if we can start that ripple, we can transform the world. But it needs everybody to be a leader. It needs everybody to be accountable, to stand up and to take that action and to be the kind of person that says, I will show I care. I will be the one. I will be one that brings that ripple, that expands the ripple. I will be the one that expands the potential of myself, of the people in my space. We need more leaders. We need to stop the greeders. Unfortunately, we've given power to the political greeders. And if Africa is going to be, do, and have and thrive, we need people to stand up and say, I'm worthy, I'm valuable. Let's together build something for ourselves, for our children, for our children's children.
Wow, 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 wow. Tony, that's quite some bulk knowledge that you've downloaded down there to all the viewers who are watching there. And you've passed it on to us that there's a difference between knowledge and wisdom, and the wisdom is how to use the knowledge that you're getting. And I hope this gets to the person who's listening to us this wonderful morning. We've got just a few more minutes to go before we go off air. And we'll touch, I believe, I know, I have seen that we cannot exhaust what Tony has. So I know many people would like to follow up with Tony to get more wisdom, more knowledge and more wisdom thereafter, and even maybe more workshops. But before we go, we can have 1 or 2 questions, and then we're going to sign off. We're going to ask Tony to tell us about the last one. But let's go back a bit. Back there, where you advised the viewer to be cautious of the relationship, the 5 people that are around him. And this is something that I always say to people. I mean, most people believe that peer pressure ended when you finished high school or you finished college. And I always tell people that peer pressure goes on even at the age of 60 going to 20. Like Tony, or even when you are 100, there's still that peer pressure. I mean, it's very, very, very important, the people that you associate with. So thank you very much for that, Tony, once again. Now, you're talking much about Africa. You are in South Africa. You've been to Mozambique. I don't know which other country you've been into. And you've talked about the mindset that people have, this mindset of give, 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 give. We are expecting, and many more mindsets that put not only Africa. I've seen other places that people have negativity, have some what do we call pessimism. Sorry about that word, pessimism. I got it. Okay, and they don't believe in a better future. Yeah, they are pessimistic. And the question is, this I'm putting forward to Tony, who is giving us some knowledge and to increase our wisdom this morning. The question is, yeah, do we still have hope?
Yeah, there's always hope. And the hope is the fuel that gets you to get out of bed each day and keep on building and digging and growing and moving forward. Without hope, people give up. And so there is always hope. In fact, right now in the world, if you look how the governments are changing, whether it's America, how that whole governmental structure and the deep state has been removed and has been blocked from doing the global domination that they were doing. In South Africa, the president has changed. Now, from trillions being stolen, we have a new president we'll have to see. There are 2 other leaders in Africa who sold off vehicles and stopped wasting the money. So there's a new energy, there's a new vibration, there's a new consciousness that says, no more are we going to allow ourselves to be commercially raped and abused. It is our together collective resources. And so the challenge is, as much as there's this hope and opportunity, it's like a baby when you go to the counter and you give the baby a sweet. The moment you take the sweet from the baby, they're going to scream and shout. And so the greeders and the dark side are going to scream and shout. And that's fine, they can do that. But the more we stand together, the more we build a positive can-do, make-do, go-do mindset, incrementally, day by day, one at a time, we are going to start to shift that mindset into a more positive approach, get rid of and the contamination and the contamination and the pessimism. But it takes one to make three, to make nine, to make 27, to make, whatever 97 is. And so that's why, for people that are listening, I'm happy to give away a free copy of my book online. You can send me an email and get hold of me, and I'm happy. It took me 35 years to write my book, from decision to action. And that's what I'm imploring people today is take action today. We've only got now today. Pay it forward today. Do something provocative, something thought-provoking, something powerful. What we talk and talk, but it's about walking the talk. It's about taking the action. It's about breaking the big goal down into smaller nibble-sized goals, and every single day irrevocably taking that step forward. And so we build a castle brick by brick on a strong foundation. We need to have the hope to take every morning to put the next brick, and the next brick. And eventually you will wake up and you will have a castle. There's that story of the guy near you. In fact, in one of the buildings in Greece, he's a tourist. He's walking through the town. It's raining. It's miserable. It's early in the morning. And there's this guy chopping on the bricks. And he says to him, "What are you doing, sir?" He says, "Can't you see I'm working?" He says, "Okay, sorry. He goes a little further. And there's a guy also chopping on the bricks. He says, "What are you doing? Can't you see I'm building this building?" And the rain's running down. And he says, "Okay, sorry." And he goes to another guy. He's there in the rain whistling. He's working away, but his pile's 5 times bigger. He says, "Sir, what are you doing?" He says, "Can't you see? I'm building this beautiful cathedral for my people." And that's the thing is, we're doing the same stuff. Some with a bad attitude, a negative attitude, a pessimistic attitude with no real hope. They're doing because they have to get some money. And on the other side of the scale, there's meaning, there's value, there's a contribution to something bigger than themselves, not just me. It's a me, we, and us. And that's the reframe that's got today is, what are you bringing for us, for the future? What are we doing? And it's easy to say this when you've got oxygen. If you've got no oxygen, nothing else matters. So step one is make sure you have oxygen. Make sure you have food, clothing, some basic shelter. And then step number 2, start to add value to the world, to a bigger thing than you. But show up with a positive attitude. There's nothing worse than being around negative people, even with or without money. It's like pass, energy vampires, goodbye, go out of my life. I'm not good to tolerate energy vampires, because you get the guys that they're twitchy and bitchy and bitter. And so for me, it's everybody brings happiness in this world. Every single person brings happiness. Some bring happiness by coming into the room, and others bring happiness by leaving the room. It just depends. Which one are you? Do you bring happiness by coming and joining the group, or do you bring happiness by leaving and departing from the group? And so for me, that's my message is, wake up. Choose love. Unhook the baggage. Unhook the past. And that's all of my work and stuff that I've got is about unhook the past. Confront the stuff that you've been too scared to confront. Tame the dragon. And then, like the alchemist, what are you here to do each day? For me, to co-create a world of more integrity, freedom, love, abundance, meaning, peace, and joy. By providing coaching, training, talks, and support for those who are ready to go to the next level. Some people are not ready for my work. They're not ready for my Phoenix and Dragon Slayers and Alchemists. They're not ready for my revolutionary workplace stuff. And that's okay. But for those that are ready, my challenge is for you to take action today. All your promises, your threats, your dreams and hopes, take action, a provocative, potent step today, tomorrow, and the day after. But it's time. I can only tell you, all you have is now, and it's time.
Wow. Wonderful. That's very, very, very wonderful, Tony. We really appreciate that you've talked to us this morning. You've given us quite some, as I say again, power knowledge, which we are going to like to go and utilize. Our time is over. We have to sign up off, and we want to appreciate each and every person that has been watching this live stream this Monday morning. And we look forward to hearing stories from you that you have achieved your life. You can see the revolutionary workplace there that Tony is displaying. He's got some freebies, I believe. And Tony is going to post the links to the websites that he has. And if you need to follow up with Tony, maybe have him come and do a workshop in your place, in your organization, in your school, your college. I mean, this is quite some value that Tony has there. And I believe that is going to be very, very useful to this generation as we are going to revive the hope that could be have been lost in some areas in your life. So parting shot, Tony, and we are off air. Say something last and we say bye.
We are all worthy. We are all valuable. You don't have to do anything to be worthy, value, or accepted. Unhook the past. Time to handle the present. That's all you have. It's a gift we have right now. And for me, the thing is choose love. Bring light, bring love. And let's
thank you.
Build that flame of hope into a furnace of success.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very, very, very much, Tony. I can't find just the right words to tell. Thank you too. And I say this even on behalf of every viewer who has viewed us this wonderful morning, and all those who are going to view it after we are off air. We thank you very, very much. And we wish you a wonderful week. We wish all the viewers a wonderful week. Until next time, hey, go follow up with those links of Tony and wish you all the best. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. So it's me, Tony, and we are saying bye.
Au revoir.
Bye.
Thank you, Anthony.
Wow.
Thank you, and bless you. Hey?
Bye.
Bless you.
Okay, bless you.
Ciao.
Yeah.